Welcome to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm Woody Zimmerman here with Mark Skabowski of Remax Lakes. Welcome to the show.
Here we are, morning.
Good morning, and well, here we are, spring break week, and you know, or some of the, I guess what, you know, Warsaw's on spring break this week. Okay, that's what I thought, and a lot of kids
Vacating. My
families
my
going down
grandkids are going to the Bahamas. They're going to
Wow.
Atlanta. So big trip. Big trip. They're
We
going
never
down-
did anything more than Florida.
Well,
It was-
exactly.
and we were lucky if we got that. Now kids are going to the Bahamas,
And they're going to the
Cancun.
Bahamas. Well, and in Warsaw, it's kind of funny. So when we moved here, it became one of those. The town is a ghost town. You know, spring week. You
Yeah.
know, spring break week. And your kids almost feel like pariahs if you don't do something.
Right.
You know, now it doesn't always have to be going to the Bahamas or going, but you need to be doing something during that week.
Yeah, you do.
Because when they go back, you know, it's like when you get out back in my day, you know, with summer vacation, you didn't see kids because we lived out in the sticks. You didn't see kids. So when you went back to school, you got to have that discussion about stuff you did. Well, here they're doing it that after spring break week. Hey, where'd you go? What'd you do? You gotta have something cool to do.
Of course.
So even going to Sky Zone, that's pretty fun.
That's fun.
I would
Yeah.
use Sky Zone, and you know the reality is the grandkids they may be going to the Bahamas. If there were, we could go to the Hampton Inn here in Warsaw and go to the pool every day,
And they would have just
and they
as
would
much
have
fun.
just
Yeah.
as much fun.
Right.
Just as much
Some
fun.
water to splash around in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. They're gonna have a good time. They're gonna have a good time.
They're gonna have a good time.
Well, the thing about the real estate market is after spring break, it tends to heat up.
It does start to pick up, and I thought today we could talk a little bit about statistics,
maybe
some national stuff, and then go into more specific because real estate is local.
Local,
But
yeah.
you'll see we kind of mirror the national stuff. I
Okay.
guess I'll tease that for the second half of the show. But
Okay.
you know, so according to some data from Realtor.com, the supply of homes for sale year over year. So between February of 24 and February of 25, why are we not using March? Because that data hasn't come out yet. Right? It takes a while to accumulate all of that stuff. But basically, inventory nationally is up 27.5% year over year.
That's pretty good.
And even though we're there, it's not back to pre-COVID levels. It's not back to 19.
Yeah.
There's still more demand than there is supply of homes. Period. There is still, even though, you know, we've got this almost 30% increase in inventory from 24 to 25
Yeah.
nationally, we're not back to where we need to be.
Well, that just tells you how bad it was with inventory, and that's what
Yes.
rose prices.
Drove prices through the roof.
Yeah.
Through the roof.
Yeah.
You know, and all of us have dealt with that on our property tax assessments.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Because property taxes have gone up significantly, and there's a lot of stuff going on about that here in Indiana. There's a lot of stuff going on nationwide where people are like, good Lord. You know, my property tax have increased 30%,
Yeah.
you know, over this time. Well, if they're using market-based, and local assessors use trending, at least here in Kosciusko County, they use trending. Well, the trends are prices are increasing. So your property taxes are going to go up. And I mean, we've all seen that. You know, one year they went up 10%, then the next year 15 or 20%. It's not sustainable long term. I would say the same thing, you know, about prices. It's not sustainable. And we said it back when it was happening, when prices were going up 15, 20%. Not sustainable. It just can't continue on. We're starting to see the market reaction to that with more inventory coming on.
Okay.
But there's still high demand. The only thing that's really tamping demand down right now is interest rates.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's really holding demand up from my perspective is interest rates. It's keeping buyers out of the market.
If they were to lower the rate, I mean, that floodgate would just open up.
It would, but you know, there's unintended consequences if they do that, because then that, you know, speeds up people going and spending, and inflation continues to go.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, the Fed's in a tough spot. They are. I mean, the real estate market is a huge part of our national wealth, you know, from an individual standpoint and from a country standpoint. The investment in real estate has always been a good deal. So, anyways, that the inventory is up. Home prices nationwide, the median home price is up 4%, 3.8%. That's nationally. That's median, not average. And after, you know, we get to the break and we talk about local stuff, we're going to talk between median and average prices. But, remember, average is simply that, the average. Take everything, divide by the number, and there's the average.
Yeah.
The median is the thing that happens the most, the middle most.
Gotcha.
So if you had a normal distribution, a bell curve, I know I'm getting statistical on you, but the middle most, the thing that occurred the most. So the median sales price is up 3.8% nationally.
Okay.
Time on the market, this is the piece with that increase in inventory. And even though there's still good demand in certain price ranges, the time on market is up 8.2%. This is median days that a home is on the market. Nationwide is up 8.2%. In February, it was 61 days. February of 24, it was 61 days. In February of 25, it's 66 days.
Wow.
Now, these are all stats. These national stats are coming from Realtor.com, so they're looking at everything around the nation. That's significant. That, we're on the market for 66 versus 61 days.
Mm-hmm.
Now, locally, which after the break when we talk about that, you're going to see we're not quite there, but in some areas we are. We're actually above that as far as days on market.
All right, very good. You're listening to Real Estate in Real Time. We'll talk about the local market next. Welcome back. You're listening to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm Woody Zimmerman here with Mark Skabowski of Remax Lakes, and we've been talking about some national numbers.
Yeah.
And just things like days on market, home prices, and the fact that we've got more supply, 27.5% more supply than this time last year. Right now, we're going to talk about the local market.
We're going to talk about local. So year to year, the number of homes sold, and again, this is a very small sample size. We're only through the first quarter of the year, right? We're through 3 months, only through 3 months. The average sales price in Kosciusko County went up 4%. The median sales price actually went down 2%.
Okay.
Median sales price actually went down 2%.
And you said median, that's what's happening
median,
the most.
It's happening the most.
Yeah.
And nationally, it's up 3.8%. That's interesting, right?
Yeah.
If you look at the average days on market for homes here in Kosciusko County, this is the entire county. The average days on market is 75.
Okay.
The median is 34.
Wow.
Which, what did we say the median was for national?
It was
66 days.
66.
66 days.
So the local market is moving faster.
Moving faster than the national market.
Wow.
That's why real estate is definitely local.
It is local.
It's definitely
you
local.
said that from day one.
Yep.
First day I met you, it's like real estate
It
is local.
So talking to somebody in California or watching news reports from here, there, and everywhere, there's certain things, interest rates are typically the same nationally. I mean, there might be some variation locally, but the real estate market is definitely local.
Well, Northern Indiana has always been an affordable place to live. Now, over those unicorn years, I mean, yes, we saw prices spike like everywhere else in the nation. But historically, and still, we are still an affordable place to live compared to other communities.
It is, and just comparing the median sales price. So in 25, the national median sales price is $398.4. The median list price here is $315 in Kosciusko County.
Right.
So it's still more affordable than the national statistics, but think about that. The national, we're a pretty big country. That takes into account the entire East Coast, the entire West Coast, which are where the prices are typically the highest.
Yes.
Versus Middle America, which prices are definitely a little bit lower.
Right.
Unless you get into little pockets like major cities, Chicago. I'm sure prices are a lot higher there. Wouldn't pretend to know. Don't sell real estate in Chicago, but my guess would be they're higher than what they are here.
Right.
So, that days on market is becoming an issue, a potential issue. So I broke it down even further when it went into specific zip codes. So 46580, which is Warsaw proper, right in and around Warsaw, just south of 30. Anything south of 30 that's Warsaw mailing, 46580. 46582 is just north of 30. Anything that's Warsaw mailing. And then I did Syracuse just to cover that. Now, hey, I don't mean to slight the folks down in Claypool and Mentone, whatever. It's just there's not that much activity that takes place there. The numbers could be skewed very dramatically by 1 or 2 listings. That's the only reason that I focus on these couple of zip codes.
Yeah, makes sense.
So Warsaw proper, 46580, the average days on market is 97.
Wow.
The median days on market is 63, which is almost the same as national.
National, right.
Now, that is the biggest bulk of the county. That's probably what has kind of moved our numbers up in the county, is because of 46580, the zip code 46580. The median list price is 266, 267 in Warsaw. So then let's look at the median, or the average sold price is 203 in Warsaw, 46580.
Wow.
So if you're looking at those numbers and you say, okay, why are houses sitting on the market so long?
Yeah.
If they're priced at the median price is 266, the average sold price is 203, meaning the median would probably be 210, 215.
Okay.
Homes are priced higher than what buyers are willing to purchase.
Okay.
At that, they're going to sit on the market longer.
Longer, right.
So again, from a seller's perspective, hey, maybe I missed the boat. If I'm going to sell my house, I probably need to reduce my price to get down closer to where the buyers are.
To me, it sounds like the pendulum is swinging towards buyers.
It is swinging more to a more normal, balanced market.
Okay.
The sellers have ruled the roost for a while.
They have, yeah.
And it's gradually making its way back to where buyers will have some negotiation power. 46582, the average days on market is 64. The median days on market, 34.
That's still
It's
quick.
46582, they're still selling pretty quickly.
Yeah.
The average sales price throughout the county is 97%. So grandpa, uncle, friends, neighbors that are telling you offer 15% below list price because Mark just said the prices are too high, you need to get it's probably not going to happen.
Right.
On average, 2.5% to 3%.
Yeah.
Which is back to normal.
That
is back to normal. I mean, I've been doing stats since I got into this business in 2005.
Yeah.
And that at that time, 2.5% to 3% was the average reduction in sales list to sales price. We're back to that. So we're slipping there. We're getting close. I did want to hit Syracuse very quickly.
Yep.
The average days on market in Syracuse is 84. The median days on market is 32. So if homes are priced right, they're still selling. Now I can say in Syracuse it's closer to a 4% reduction because typically your lake houses up there, they impact that.
Yeah.
So
that makes
bottom
sense.
line, the market is definitely, you want to pay attention to local, not just national.
Right.
National statistics can talk about interest rates, things like that, but when you're talking pricing and things, you need to be local.
Yeah. Real estate is local.
Yep.
All right. If you'd like to continue this conversation with Mark, make sure you reach out. Your contact info.
Sure. The website, skabowskiteam.com. Phone numbers, 574-527-0660. Can always email me, mark@skabowskiteam.com. Happy to answer any questions you have.
Yeah. Very interesting information. All right. You've been listening to Real Estate in Real Time. Have yourself a wonderful weekend.